Act as if. The greatest lie you were ever told is that reality comes first, that your life is shaped by what you see, what you have, what's happening around you. But the truth, reality is late to the party. It always follows belief. It's nothing more than a mirror, a delayed reflection of what you act as if is already true. You want to change your life? You don't start with what's real. You start with what's imagined, what's believed, what's embodied, because the world doesn't respond to your hopes. It responds to your conviction. And when you act as if you are already who you're becoming, reality has no choice but to catch up. Look around. Every man or woman who ever changed the world lived by this law. They didn't wait for evidence. They became the evidence. When Edison was working in a dark lab, testing failed idea after failed idea, he didn't act like a man who couldn't get it right. He acted like a man who already had the answer. He just had to find it. When Walt Disney saw acres of swampland, he didn't see what was. He saw castles, kingdoms, magic. He acted like it was already built, and because they acted as if it were already real, the world bent to their belief. That's not imagination. That's alignment. Most people get this completely backwards. They say, when I feel confident, I'll speak up. When I have money, I'll invest. When I succeed, then I'll believe I'm worthy. But that's not how it works. That's not creation. That's compliance. And the universe doesn't reward compliance. It rewards consciousness. It's not believe it when you see it. It's see it because you believed it. The moment you act as if, you are not pretending. You are positioning. You're setting the frequency. You're giving the signal. And the law of vibration will bring you the match. So act as if you're already healed. Act as if you're already chosen. Act as if the door has already opened. And your job is simply to walk through it. Because when you live from that future version of you, everything starts to shift. Your energy changes. Your body language changes. Your voice becomes stronger. Your posture straightens. Your thoughts sharpen. And suddenly, people respond differently. Opportunities approach differently. Time moves differently. Why? Because you're no longer asking for transformation. You're embodying it. You don't need permission to become. You need alignment. And alignment starts with decision. Bob Proctor said, act like the person you want to become is already here. That's not just a motivational quote. That's a spiritual principle. That's how you collapse time. You stop waiting. You stop hoping. You stop looking for signs. And you become the sign. And the moment you do, the people, the resources, the moments, they find you because they were never missing. They were waiting for the version of you that had the courage to step into the frequency that matches what you asked for. That's not arrogance. That's alignment. That's obedience to the calling on your life. So stop saying, I'll start when it's the right time. Time bends to belief. It bends to action. It bends to the one who moves like they already own the room. You want to lead? Then act as if you are already trusted. You want to love? Then act as if you are already whole. You want to prosper? Then act as if you already know that wealth flows through you, not to you. You are not chasing anything. You are magnetizing everything. And magnetism doesn't come from what you say. It comes from what you embody. Think about this. Every time you shrink, every time you wait, every time you hesitate until you see proof, you're training your subconscious to expect lack. But every time you walk with confidence, even if no one else sees the vision yet, you are reprogramming your identity. You're telling the cells in your body, this is who we are now. And your body listens, your behavior follows, and your world reorders itself. Because nothing is more magnetic than someone who knows exactly who they are before the world confirms it. That's power. That's presence. That's how reality bends. So start today. Start now. Don't wait to feel ready. Start acting like the person you know you were born to be. Walk like it. Talk like it. Move like it. Make decisions like someone who's already there. Dress like it. Think like it. Show up like it. Don't wait for permission to transform. Transform and watch how quickly the world gives you permission you no longer need. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are, so become it. Now. There is no force more dangerous to mediocrity than someone who has already decided who they are. Because when you decide, really decide, there is no maybe, there is no we'll see, there is no I hope it works out, there is only motion. And that kind of motion, motion backed by identity, becomes unstoppable. Most people are stuck not because they lack talent, but because they haven't given themselves permission to move like they've already made it. They're waiting for someone to tell them they're good enough, worthy enough, qualified enough. But the truth, nobody's coming, and no one has to, because the one voice that truly matters is yours. And the moment you say, I am already it, I am already becoming, I act now, not later, that's when the shift begins, not outside you, but within you. Because here's the secret. The outer world always obeys the inner one. This is not just mindset. This is law, spiritual law, universal law. Bob Proctor knew it, Emerson knew it, Wallace Wattles wrote it, Jesus preached it. As you believe, so it shall be done unto you. But belief isn't wishing. Belief is behavior. Belief is how you carry yourself. Belief is walking into the unknown, as if it already belongs to you. That's what faith is. And faith without movement, it's fantasy. So act as if the business is already thriving. Act as if the vision has already gone viral. Act as if your voice already moves millions. Act as if the dream is already alive. And your only job now is to keep walking in its direction. And when things don't look like it yet, when the bank account disagrees, when no one claps, when the doors stay closed, that's when the test comes. That's when the voice says, now show me who you really are. Because acting as if doesn't mean you don't see the obstacles. It means you don't bow to them. It means your identity is no longer tied to what happens outside of you. And the moment you master that, you become the one who shapes reality, not the one shaped by it. People often ask, but what if I don't feel confident yet? Here's the truth. You don't need to feel it to be it. You don't need permission to move in power. You don't need certainty to begin. You just need a standard. A new standard for how you walk, speak, act, and believe. And the moment you raise that standard, the world rises to meet you because everything you want already exists. Everything. The wealth, the health, the influence, the relationship, the calling, but it lives on a different frequency. And you can't visit that frequency with the old identity. You must become the match. This is why affirmations without alignment don't work. You can speak success, but if you still move like someone who's unsure, the world responds to that. You can post about vision, but if you still shrink when the opportunity comes, the universe responds to that. You can pray, manifest, meditate, but if your energy says, I'm still doubting, then your results will reflect delay, not destiny. This is why Bob Proctor drilled one idea into the ground. You must become emotionally involved with the image of your goal. Not logically involved, emotionally, viscerally, energetically. That means it moves you, it shakes you. It becomes so real in your spirit that you no longer ask, will it happen? You wake up and say, it's already done, I'm just catching up. And you know what happens when you live like that? You stop needing things to change. You stop begging for signs. You stop looking for confirmation. You start commanding your space. People feel you before they hear you. Doors open before you even knock. The energy shifts the moment you walk in, not because of ego, but because you've aligned your inner world so deeply that the outer world has no choice but to respond. You don't chase, you attract. You don't plead, you pull. Because you are no longer acting from where you've been. You're acting from where you're going, and everything in your life bends to the strength of that decision. So stop waiting, stop stalling, stop negotiating with doubt. You already have what it takes. You already are what they said you'd never be. You already hold within you the blueprint to rewrite everything. The only thing missing is the embodiment, the decision, The daily, relentless choice to show up as if you've already made it, not to fake it, not to impress, but to confirm what your spirit already knows, because you weren't given the dream to tease you. You were given the dream because it's your assignment. Now rise, move, walk, act as if. Discipline is the difference between what you could become and what you will become. Anyone can dream, anyone can visualize, but the person who acts as if every single day, that's the one who moves mountains, because discipline is faith in motion. It's saying, I will show up even when it doesn't look like it's working. I will still act like a giant even when I'm surrounded by doubt. I will hold the standard even when my emotions scream otherwise. Discipline is how the invisible becomes visible. It's how the imagined becomes manifested. It's how the spiritual becomes physical. And the one who acts as if, without needing proof, becomes proof. Look around at those who have built the impossible. They weren't the smartest, they weren't the most connected, they weren't even the most confident, but they moved anyway. They acted like giants before anyone knew their name. They walked into empty rooms like they were arenas. They spoke when no one was listening. They practiced when no one was watching. Because discipline isn't about results, it's about identity. And once your identity is upgraded, your results are just catching up. You stop asking, what if I fail? And start declaring, I refuse to retreat. You stop wondering, am I good enough? And start affirming, I was born for this. You don't wait for energy. You generate it. You don't wait for clarity, you create it. You don't ask for alignment, you become it. You want your future to look different? Then start walking differently now. Stop showing up like the old you and expecting the new life. It doesn't work like that. You can't carry a millionaire vision in a survival mindset. You can't lead nations while entertaining the habits of hesitation. You can't receive what's divine while still rehearsing your doubts. You must live now as the person who already owns the promise. You must decide that your standards are no longer up for debate, that how you think, speak, walk, work, and love will reflect where you're going, not where you've been. Because the real shift isn't in what you do, it's in who you are while doing it. That's why the greats carry such weight. They don't need to announce their value, they embody it. When they walk into a room, you feel it. When they speak, the atmosphere bends. When they move, the noise goes silent, because they've practiced being that person in silence. They've lived that mindset when no one believed. They've paid the price in secret, so the reward could show up in public. And so must you. You must train your mind to walk by vision, not by reaction, to live from alignment, not from circumstance, to choose movement, not mood, because your destiny won't wait for your feelings to catch up, and your purpose has no interest in your excuses. You either act as if you've already been crowned, or you'll forever live beneath your calling. And here's where most people miss it. They think acting as if means pretending. They think it's performance. They think it's fake. But real ones know. It's not about faking confidence. It's about claiming identity before the evidence arrives. It's about saying, I don't need the world to see it yet. I see it. I don't need results to feel powerful. I am powerful. I don't need permission to speak. I was born with authority. That's not performance. That's presence. That's ownership. That's maturity. That's what changes everything. And yes, the doubt will come. The fear will whisper. The failure will knock. And when it does, you stand. You act as if you've already overcome. You act as if the storm is beneath your feet. You act as if the challenge was sent to prove your strength, not break it. Because acting as if is not a mindset. It's a decision, a line drawn in the sand, a posture, a command. And when you walk in that kind of posture, that divine alignment, life doesn't stay the same. It can't. Because the version of you that acts as if creates a world no one else saw coming. So here's the question. How would you move if you knew you couldn't fail? How would you speak if you already had the stage? How would you love, build, lead, work, Serve if you knew your success was inevitable. Start doing that. Start becoming that, because your future doesn't need more wishing. It needs embodiment. It needs presence. It needs you acting now, as if you're already the person you were born to be. Gratitude is the most powerful proof that you already believe, because when you're thankful for something that hasn't arrived yet, you're telling the universe it's already mine. You're not waiting to see it. You're living as if it's already here. Gratitude is not a nice thought. It's not something you do once in a journal and forget. It's a frequency. It's a declaration. It's a spiritual contract. When you walk in gratitude, you don't need constant reassurance. You don't need outside approval. You already know, deep in your soul, you are blessed, you are backed, you are becoming, you speak from overflow, you move with calm, you radiate presence. Because gratitude says, I'm already aligned with what I asked for. I'm already in agreement with my destiny. That's not delusion, that's divine intelligence. So if the dream looks far away, give thanks. If the road is lonely, give thanks. If they doubted you, walked away, laughed, or forgot, give thanks, not because you enjoy pain, but because you know the pain has purpose. And gratitude turns the pain into power. It shifts your focus. It trains your nervous system to stop bracing for disappointment and start preparing for arrival. Gratitude keeps your spirit ready, because what's coming doesn't need a fearful version of you. It needs the grounded, grateful, locked-in version, the one who acts like it's already done, because in the realm of the spirit it is. But even when you're grateful, life will still test you, and that's where resilience steps in. Resilience is not bouncing back, it's bouncing forward. It's using the storm as fuel. It's letting betrayal refine you. It's letting failure train your instincts, not shame your soul. The person who acts as if doesn't crumble when life says, not yet. They don't take delay as denial. They don't let resistance turn into retreat. They adapt, they adjust, they bend without breaking, because they know resilience isn't about being untouched. It's about being untouchable in your spirit. It's about walking through fire and not smelling like smoke. It's about losing and still learning, falling and still choosing, crying and still building. Acting as if doesn't mean you always feel strong. It means you return to strength every time something tries to take it from you. It's resilience in your eyes, stillness in your soul, relentlessness in your walk. When everything says quit, you act as if you've already won. When the results don't match the vision, you act as if they do. Not because you're pretending, but because you know the seed always comes before the fruit, and those who plant with certainty harvest with abundance. You are not waiting to win. You are walking like victory is already stitched into your DNA, because it is, and if you're still breathing, there's still purpose in you. Don't you dare forget that. The fact that you're here, hearing this, thinking this, feeling this, is the evidence that the vision still lives. It doesn't matter how long it's been. It doesn't matter how many times you've tried. Your job is not to question the pace. Your job is to walk like it's already unfolding. Your job is to act as if the breakthrough has already been scheduled. To wake up and move like heaven already said yes, because every step you take in that energy rewrites the atmosphere around you. It's not just for you. It's for the people connected to your obedience, the lives you'll touch, the generations you'll shift, the legacy you'll build. So breathe, stand, own your space. This is not about fake confidence. It's about divine memory. You're remembering who you've always been, before the doubt, before the fear, before the world told you to play small. You're returning to the blueprint, the soul-level knowledge that says, I am enough, even before the results. I am worthy, even before the world agrees. I am it, even before anyone sees. That's power. That's spiritual alignment. That's magnetic energy. And once you find it, everything finds you. You no longer chase. You call in. You no longer strive. You attract through embodiment. You no longer beg for breakthroughs. You become the breakthrough because you acted as if, and now the world is just catching up. Most people don't need more motivation. They need emotional control, because what good is a dream if your moods keep killing your momentum? What good is a vision if you can't hold the vibration long enough for it to manifest? The person who acts as if doesn't react to everything. They don't let the day dictate their state. They command the energy. They bring the tone. You want to be unstoppable? Learn how to feel it all, but obey none of it. Feel the fear, but act in faith. Feel the pressure, but lead with poise. Feel the doubt, but move with discipline. This is how you rise. You become the observer, not the reactor. You stop letting temporary emotion drive permanent decisions, because emotion is energy, but you are the master of that energy. And when you master your inner climate, you become untouchable in any storm. People will wonder how you stay so calm, so focused, so committed. They'll think it's confidence, but you'll know it's control. It's knowing you're not waiting for a good day, you're creating it. And you don't need to feel perfect to show up powerfully. You just need to act as if you're already built for this. Because you are. There comes a point where you realize this isn't just about you. This is about everyone watching you, everyone who needs you to go first, everyone who's counting on your obedience, your courage, your rise. You don't just act as if for yourself. You act as if for those who are still scared to, for the younger version of you that didn't feel seen, for the person who's still in survival mode, for the ones praying for someone like you to show them what's possible. This is about legacy, because when you act as if, you're not just stepping into your future, you're creating a blueprint for theirs. You're showing the world what happens when someone chooses faith over fear. Vision over validation, purpose over comfort. Every time you walk like it's already yours, you make it easier for the next one to believe, to try, to become. And that ripple, it's the beginning of a revolution. So walk boldly, speak with conviction, live like your footsteps echo into eternity, because they do. And your legacy won't be built from what you hoped would happen, but from what you acted on, like it already had. Becoming before becoming. There is a universal law working for you right now, and whether you believe in it or not, it's still shaping your life. The law is simple. You do not receive what you want. You receive who you are, not someday, not when it's convenient, right now. In this moment, you are living the mirror image of your self-concept. So if you want to shift your outer world, you don't start by changing things. You start by changing you, not with more effort, with more embodiment, because becoming always comes before becoming. The person who gets the breakthrough, they acted as if they already had it, long before the result arrived. The one who receives the platform, they spoke with power in empty rooms. They led when no one was listening. They delivered their message when all they had was a cracked voice and a shaking spine. The one who commands wealth, they carried the posture of prosperity while their bank account whispered otherwise. They tithed when it hurt. They gave generously while they were still bleeding. They said, "Money flows to me," not because it already did, but because they refused to act like someone who lacked. This is the shift. This is what it means to act as if. You must begin to see the future version of you as the only version. Speak how they speak, work how they work, move how they move, think how they think. Make no room for who you used to be, no backup plan for the person who doubts, no air left for the self that hesitates, because that version, the old you, can't come with you where you're going. They can't handle the weight of the calling. They can't carry the influence. They can't survive the spotlight. You must shed them now, in secret. Because if you don't let go of who you were in silence, life will force it in public. And that death is harder. That separation is more painful. So choose to evolve now. Choose to become now. You keep asking for transformation, but transformation doesn't come through waiting. It comes through witnessing, through beholding a new identity and living like it's real before anyone else believes it. This is what they meant when they said, "As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he." It's not what you think on Sunday, not what you say in your journal, not what you post to sound confident. It's what you are in your being, your breath, your bones, your walk. Your nervous system must start vibrating with the identity you claim. You must walk like someone who belongs in the room. Even when you feel like an imposter, you must sit at the table like someone who brings value. Even when your voice shakes when you speak, you must look in the mirror and see someone who is already it, even when your reflection hasn't caught up yet. This is not delusion. This is the spiritual blueprint of creation. The most powerful people you'll ever meet. They don't act with confidence because they're arrogant. They act with certainty because they know they are not alone. They act as if they're backed by something bigger, because they are. They act as if the universe bends in their favor, because it does. They act as if the resources will show up, because they know they are operating under divine law, not earthly limitation. They are not just walking into rooms, they are bringing presence, authority, assignment, and that energy is what the world responds to. Not your appearance, not your credentials, not your followers, your energy, your conviction, your frequency. So what's your frequency right now? Is it frustration, scarcity, self-pity, or is it ownership, peace, expectation? You can't act as if and vibrate with fear. You can't speak the language of abundance and think like a beggar. You can't pray for destiny and live like a drifter. Your alignment is what unlocks acceleration. The universe isn't testing you, it's mirroring you. And when you start becoming the future version of you in the present moment, everything you've been chasing starts chasing you. There is a version of you walking boldly into rooms, owning your voice, operating from peace, living without apology, making decisions without delay, speaking with fire, giving without fear, loving without walls, building with clarity, acting without waiting, and rising without shrinking. And that version isn't some distant dream. That version is here now. You access them not by force, but by faith, not by perfection, but by permission. Permission to rise, permission to shift, permission to leave behind who you were. You want to live that version? Act as if you already are, and don't look back. Final conclusion. This is your moment, not tomorrow, not next week. Now you've been circling this mountain long enough. You've been praying for a door that's already open. You've been waiting for a sign, but the sign is you. The vision that keeps visiting you in silence, it's not random. It's a summons. The reason you can't shake the dream, because it's not just a dream, it's a blueprint from heaven. And now, it's time to act, to move like it's already real, to live like you're already free, to lead like the world is already listening. Because everything you want is waiting on one thing, your alignment. Not your perfection, not your performance, not your popularity, your alignment with who God created you to be. You're not broken, you're becoming. You're not late, you're right on time. You're not behind, you're being built. And the moment you act as if, with holy conviction, mental clarity, spiritual discipline, the atmosphere changes. The silence turns into answers. The pressure turns into oil. The resistance turns into power. Because God does not anoint potential, He anoints movement. And if you're willing to walk by faith, if you're bold enough to embody the future before it's visible, then nothing, no system, no shadow, no setback can stop what He has placed inside you. You are not just dreaming, you are remembering. You are not just hoping, you are realigning. You are not just wishing, you are returning to the frequency of who you've always been. So this is the moment you draw the line. Right here, right now, today. You don't return to the old you. You don't shrink to make others comfortable. You don't rehearse the pain. You don't recite the doubt. You don't lower the standard. You rise. You become. You act as if the door is already open, as if the money is already moving, as if the healing has already begun, as if the influence is already spreading, as if the platform has already been built, as if you've already become the person the world is waiting on. Because in the spirit realm, You have. And now your job is simple. Catch up to your calling. Don't look for proof. Be the proof. Don't wait for signs. Be the sign. Don't wait for the world to change. Be the one who moves differently, who talks like a lion, who loves without fear, who builds without asking for permission, who walks with holy fire and unwavering peace, because you've already decided that nothing will stop what has already been written. So act as if and let the world follow, because when you become the future becomes now. And it starts with a single choice: step, move, speak, walk, command, rise, build, give, lead, become, act as if. Thank you for joining me today. Please like and subscribe, and please leave a comment. We would love to hear from you.